Good day, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well on this Sunday evening, June the 8th of 2025. It is 11:17 p.m. here in the communist shithole we call Ontario, Canada. And I'm making this video because of a comment I just got. Well, I just got a couple that got my attention. One person says, "How do you come up with these topics?" I don't know if that means how are you coming up with all these great topics, or what's the matter with you while you're talking about these things. It could mean either thing. I don't really have to come up with them. These are things that are happening in the world, the things I talk about, and they might not be things that make a person popular or get more views and all that stuff. But luckily, I don't care about any of that stuff, so I don't choose my topics like everyone else on YouTube does. What's going to get people to watch? What's going to make me popular? What's going to make people like me? How am I going to make more money? That's what everyone else is thinking. I'm not. I don't care about any of that stuff. The things I'm talking about, the Lord has directed me to talk about, and they're all things that I know quite well because I've studied and researched them. I don't sit here and make things up. I spend a ridiculous amount of time because I've been alone for a decade now, completely alone all the time. So I don't have much else to do but educate myself and learn about things. And that's how I come up with these topics. I spend a lot of time doing research. So, the comment that spurred this video on, my viewer a very regular viewer from Australia, she says, "I had an awful Indian doctor years ago trying to force me to get the cervical cancer pokey poke. She tried many times. I said no about 4 times. It all makes sense now what they've always been doing. Shocking." Yes, they have been doing this for a long time, and it is shocking to people when they learn what they're doing with this. I'm going to read you something from, and I've done this before, probably over a year ago, I made a video about this. Excuse me, there was a guy named Rudolf Steiner, who was a very, very elite, well-known intellectual. He was a theosophist, but he was a Christian, actually. He was mostly a Christian, but he dipped his toes into theosophy as well. And he warned us about pokey pokes, okay? So I'm going to read this. This is what he said. I think it's in early 1900s. He died, I think, in 1925. Yeah, he died in 1925. So this was somewhere around, very early 1900s that he said this. And this was in his essays and lectures. He was a professor. He taught people about Christianity and science. He kind of mixed the two things together. He said, "In the future, we will eliminate the soul with medicine under the pretext of a, in quotes, healthy point of view. There will be a pokey poke by which the human body will be treated as soon as possible directly at birth, so that the human being cannot develop the thought of the existence of soul and spirit." That's quite a statement right there. Especially seeing as the Hopi tribe, when they were forced to get pokey pokes, lost their ability to lucid dream. That's what happened to them. He goes on to say, to materialistic doctors will be entrusted the task of removing the soul of humanity. As today people are pokey poked against this disease or that disease, so in the future children will be pokey poked with a substance that can be produced precisely in such a way that people think, thanks to this pokey poke, will be immune to being subject subjected to the madness of spiritual life. He would be extremely smart, but he would not develop a conscience. That is the true goal of some materialistic circles. Once the etheric body is detached, the relationship between the universe and the etheric body would become extremely unstable, and man would become an automaton, for the physical body of man must be polished on this earth by spiritual will. So the Pokey becomes a kind of Ahrimanic force. He's referring to the deity known as Ahriman, a Persian deity, basically the equivalent of Satan, pretty much. Man can no longer get rid of a given materialistic feeling. He becomes materialistic of constitution and can no longer rise to the spiritual. This, everybody, is the purpose of Pokey Pokes. The main one. They also use it for basic things like population control by sterilizing people. To quickly lower the population by finishing people. And now, with mRNA, molding people in various ways, changing people. CRISPR technology is what we're talking about here. CRISPR technology changes your genetics. It literally changes who you are. Mr. Klaus Schwab literally said that openly in one of his big speeches. It changes you. It changes who you are, what you are. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So this belief that people have that they're trying to save you from some virus. No. Never been about that. Never. Not once, ever has it been about that. They've been very careful to make sure no one can prove otherwise. They've really, the gatekeepers have been on this more than they're on anything. As soon as they lose the ability to pokey poke us, they're screwed. They no longer have total control over the world. And through the David Rockefeller Institute of Medicine, whatever it's called, it's David Rockefeller's medical society, basically. He decided he was going to train all the doctors from a certain point on, and he has. He's infiltrated every university. When you have so much money that you can buy anybody, right? And everyone has a price. That not everyone, because I really don't. You could not buy me. I don't care if it's $10 billion, $20 billion, $100 billion, $1 trillion. It's not going to buy me. There's no way. I'll be poor. I'll be on the street before I will sell my soul to some technocrat that wants to do damage to the whole human race. Not happening. But that's not common. When people see a big briefcase full of cash, open it up and show them, that could be mine? What do I got to do? That's the first thing they think. And that's what's happened with Pokey Pokes. Okay, you've all been fooled. If you're rolling up that sleeve, you've been fooled 100%. It's not about protecting you. It's not about protecting other people. That's the most ridiculous one of all. They say, you got to protect those around you. Well, haven't they been pokey poked too? If they've been pokey poked, why do I got to be pokey poked to protect them? That's how stupid they think everyone is. And unfortunately, some people are. Some people will buy that. That means the pokey poke don't work. If I got to be pokey poked just to protect you, who's also been pokey poked, I see an issue here. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Whoever's not pokey poked, they should be the one at risk only and no one else. But that's not how they sell it to you. Now, that thing I just read from Rudolf Steiner, this is a well-known thing, especially years ago. Lots of people knew about this. But I've read that to so many people, and they went, he just made it up, or they said some explain it away kind of thing. If you look into who Rudolf Steiner was, he was in a position to know exactly what he was talking about. And like I say, the Hopi tribe, they were forced into Pokey Pokes, and they put up a big fight. But guess what? They eventually lost it. One group of them did anyway, and they ended up getting Pokey Poked. They lost their ability to lucid dream instantly. They were not happy, because that's how they guide their lives. They believe the dream realm is guidance from the Great Spirit they call God. And the Pokey Pokes took that ability away. Well, isn't that funny? That's exactly what Rudolf Steiner said. I mean, that's exactly what he said. I'm going to read that part again. There will be a Pokey Poke by which the human body will be treated as soon as possible, directly at birth, so that the human being cannot develop the thought of the existence of soul and spirit. So even before we had mRNA Pokey Pokes, that's what they were doing to people. That's why there's so many atheists in the world. This is a way to cut you off from the divine, from God, and from the idea of you even having a soul. People laugh at the idea of having a soul. Well, I've had a near-death experience, and my soul has left my body and looked down at my dead body. I can tell you without any doubt that we have a soul. I mean, literally, I've left my body, looked right at it, went, wow, and had some sort of, I call it a plasma blob, come and yell at me because I was trying to end my life. That's how I ended up in that situation. And I was told I really upset the Father because I had a very big lack of gratitude for my life and all the blessings that had been given to me. And the reprimanding was something you can't even imagine. So I also haven't been pokey poked. I don't even think I was at birth because I was born in a hospital I wasn't supposed to be born in whatsoever. They didn't have pokey pokes there because they didn't have babies born there. It was a hospital that didn't do that. My mother happened to be there. She went into labor, and I was born in a place where there was no pokey pokes for infants. So I escaped it. Which, that's what I attribute to the life I've had. Because spiritual, man, since I was a child, my life's been a very extreme spiritual journey with a very close connection to the divine. I believe that's why. The pokey pokes are not to save you from getting sick. Never has been, never will be. And as a matter of fact, they don't even do that. They don't even do that. I promise they don't even do that. The Lord himself has told me that. Those shots are nothing but evil from down below.